house. A drift of foreign sand will be your grave. The parting gift will be your mother's tears. We have lost everything. But no, there is one reason why I should endure a while. His mother's dearest, now her only child, once youngest of that great company of sons, my Polydorus lives, here and on these shores, protected by the friendly Thracian king. Then why delay to bathe these cruel wounds, her dear face splattered with dreadful blood? So Hecuba went wailing towards the shore with aged step and tearing her gray hair. At last the unhappy mother said, "Give me an urn, O Trojan women," for she wished to dip up salt sea water. But just then she saw the corpse of her last son, thrown out upon the shore. Her Polydorus, killed, disfigured with deep wounds of Thracian swords. The Trojan women cried aloud, and she was struck dumb with her agony, which quiet consumed both voice and tears within her heart. Rigid and still she seemed as a hard rock. And now she gazes at the earth in front, now lifts her haggard head up toward the skies, now scans that body lying stark and dead, now scans his wounds, and most of all the wounds. She arms herself and draws up all her wrath. It burned as if she still held regal power. She gave up all life to the single thought of quick revenge. Just as a lioness rages when plundered of her suckling cub, and follows on his trail the unseen foe, so Hecuba, with rage mixed in her grief, forgetful of her years, not her intent, went hastily to Polynestor, which contrived this dreadful murder, and desired an interview, pretending it was her wish to show him hidden gold for her lost son. The Odrysian king believed it all. Accustomed to the love of gain, he went with her, in secret, to the spot she chose. Then craftily he said in his bland way, "O Hecuba, you need not wait. Give now, munificently to your son, and all you give, and all that you have given, by the good gods, I swear, shall be his own." She eyed him sternly as he spoke, and swore so falsely. Then her rage boiled over, and seconded by all her captive train, she flew at him and drove her fingers deep in his perfidious eyes, and tore them from his face, and plunged her hands into the raw and bleeding sockets. Passion made her strong, defiled with his bad blood. How could she tear his eyes, gone from their seats? She wildly gouged the sightless sockets of his bleeding face. The Thracians, angered by such violence done upon their king, immediately attacked the Trojan matron with their stones and darts, but she with hoarse growling and snapping jaws sprang at the stones, and, when she tried to speak, she barked like a fierce dog. The place still bears a name suggested by her hideous change, and she, long mindful of her old-time woe, ran howling dismally in Thracian fields. Her sad fate moved the Trojans and the Greeks, her friends and foes, and all the heavenly gods. Yes, all, for even the sister wife of Jove denied that Hecuba deserved such a fate. Although Aurora had given aid to Troy, she had no heart nor leisure to be moved by fall of Troy or fate of Hecuba. At home she bore a greater grief and care. Her loss of Memnon is afflicting her. Aurora, his rose-tinted mother, saw him perish by Achilles' deadly spear, upon the Phrygian plain. She saw his death, and the loved rose that lights the dawning hour turned death pale, and the sky was veiled in clouds. The parent could not bear to see his limbs laid on the final flames. Just as she was, with loose hair streaming round her, she did not disdain to crouch down at the knees of Jove, and said these sad words added to her tears: "Beneath all those whom golden heaven sustains, inferior, for see, through all the world my temples are so few. I have come now, a goddess, to you, not with any hope that you may grant me temples, festivals, and altars, heated with devoted flames, but if you will consider the good deeds which I, a woman, may yet do for you, when at the dawn I mark the edge of night. Then you may think of some reward for me, but that is not my care, nor is it how Aurora's purpose here, that she should plead for honors, though deserved. I come bereaved of my son Memnon, who in vain bore arms to aid his uncle, and in the prime of life, oh, thus you willed it, fell stricken by the sword of great Achilles. Give my son, I pray, O highest ruler of the gods, some honor, some comfort for his death, a little ease his mother's grief. Jove nodded his assent. Immediately the high-wrought funeral pile of Memnon fell down with its lofty fire, and volumes of black smoke obscured the day, as streams, exhaling their dense rising fogs, exclude the bright sun from the land below. Black ashes fly, and rolling up a shape, retain a form and gather heat and life out of the fire. Their lightness gave them wings, first like a bird, and then in fact a bird. The wings move, whirring. In the neighboring air uncounted sisters, of one birth and growth together make one noise. 3 times they flew around the funeral pile, and thrice the sound accordant of their fluttering wings went swift upon the soft breeze. When they turned about, their fourth flight in the skies divided them, as 2 fierce races from 2 hostile camps clashed in their warfare. These bird sisters with their beaks and crooked claws clashed, passionate, until their tired wings and opposing breasts could not sustain them. And those kindred foes fell down a sacrifice, memorial, to Memnon's ashes buried in that place. Brave Memnon, author of their birth, has given his name to those birds, marvelously formed, and from him they are called Memnonids. Now, always when the sun has passed the 12th sign of the zodiac, they war again, to perish as a sacrifice for him. So others grieved, while Dymas' royal daughter was barking. But Aurora, overcome with lasting sorrow, could not think of her, and even now she sheds affectionate tears, and sprinkles them as dew on all the world. The fates did not allow the hope of Troy to be destroyed entirely with her walls. Aeneas, the heroic son of Venus, bore on his shoulders holy images, and still another holy weight, his sire, a venerable burden. From all his wealth the pious hero chose this for his care, together with his child, Ascanius. Then with a fleet of exiles he sailed forth. He leaves Antandrus, leaves the wicked realm and shore of Thrace, now dripping with the blood of Polydorus. With fair winds and tide he and his comrades reach Apollo's isle. Good Aeneas, king of Delos, vigilant for all his subjects' welfare, and as priest devoted to Apollo, took him there into his temple and his home, and showed the city, the famed shrines, and the 2 trees, which once Latona, while in labor, held. They burned sweet incense, added it to wine, and laid the flesh of cattle in the flames, an offering marked by custom for the god. Then in the palace and its kingly hall, reclining on luxurious couches, they drank flowing wine with Ceres' gift of food. But old Anchises asked, O chosen priest of Phoebus, can I be deceived? When I first saw these walls, did you not have a son, and twice 2 daughters? Is it possible I am mistaken? Aeneas replied, shaking his temples wreathed with fillets white. It can be no mistake, great hero, you did see the father of 5 children then. So much the risk of fortune may affect the best of men. You see me now, almost bereft of all. For what assistance can my absent son afford, while he is king, the ruler over Andros, that land named for his name, over which he rules for me? The Delian god gave to my son the art of augury, and likewise Liber gave my daughters precious gifts exceeding all my wishes and belief. Since everything my daughters touched assumed the forms of corn, of sparkling wine, or gray-green olive oil, most surely wonderful advantages. Soon as Atrides